All right, welcome back to lesson 26. Learn about solving problems about time. So this is day 3. It starts on page 258. This is very similar to cups and pints. We are going to be doing 4 pages for day 3. There is 2 parts to day 3. So part 1 is solving problems about time. So it's going to ask you questions. You got to solve them, okay? And then we're going to do a part 2. So I'm just going to add them both in the same video. Maybe it makes it a little easier. So let's get started on part 1. Read the problem, then you will explore different ways to solve problems about time. Okay? So, Keiko plays outside for 3 hours. She stops playing at 1 p.m. What time does Keiko start playing outside? She says, so let me read that one more time. Oh my gosh, I can't get this straight. Keiko plays outside for 3 hours. She stops playing at 1 p.m. What time does Keiko start playing outside? Well, I know important pieces of that are that she's going to play for at least 3 hours. She can't play any more. That's her total. We've talked about totals. That's her total play time is 3 hours. She can't play more. She can't play less. And then it says she stops, so she has to be over at 1 p.m. You can't go past 1 p.m. And then our question says, when does she start? So here's our question word. When is she starting? What time did she start? So we know she's only playing 3 hours. No more, no less. She's done at 1. So we need to know what time she's going, like what time she came to the play. So they modeled it for you. You can use a number line to help you find the start time. The number line below shows the time with AM and PM. Start at 1 p.m. This is when Keiko stops playing. This word right here. Count backwards, or count back the 3 hours that Keiko plays outside. So they did 1, and then 12 p.m., 11 a.m., and then 10 a.m. Okay, that's how they did it. Picture it. You can also use a clock to help you find the start time. The first clock shows 1 p.m. This is when Keiko stops playing. Count 3 hours backward for this time she plays outside. So they said, here's 1 p.m. Okay. Then they went back another hour, 11. Then they went back again to 10. So this is when she starts playing. Right here. So we're going to use them. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. We're going to use the models to solve the problem. Number 7, look at the model it. What time is 1 hour before 1 p.m.? So let's go to this model it. So before 1 p.m. What's 1 before 1 p.m.? It's 12 p.m. So what time is 1 hour before 1 p.m.? The time would be 12 p.m. Number 8, what time is 2 hours before 1 p.m.? 1, 2. So it's 11 a.m. You gotta make sure you know your AMs, your AMs from your PMs, otherwise you will get it incorrect. 11 a.m. 9, what time does Keiko start playing outside? So what did she do? What time did she start playing outside? I want you to answer number 9 for me. I'm going to look for it. You should be able to tell. It's very easy. How can you check your answer? So how could you check your answer? How could you check your answer to make sure that you were correct? Okay, well, if we start start at 10 a.m. and count 3 hours up, we would stop at 1 p.m. Okay. Number 11, look at the picture it. Can you tell from the clock if the time was a.m. or p.m.? So it's saying this one with the clocks. Do you know if that's a.m. or p.m.? Well, if you count back from 1 p.m., you get past 12 p.m. and anything before 12 p.m. is an a.m. That's how it works. So 12 p.m. is the same thing as saying noon. Okay, and that's when we're up here. So anything before noon will be an a.m. So like you come to school at 7:15 a.m. So then 7 all the way until noon is an a.m. As soon as noon hits, as soon as it's on that 12, it's 12 p.m. That's what noon means, okay? And then everything after that's a p.m. So let's read number 12. How can you tell if the time Keiko starts playing outside is a.m. or p.m.? You know what? Miss Rice made a mistake. This answer for number 11 should be on number 12. So I'm going to draw an arrow down here. And you can as well, because that was Miss Rice's uh-oh. We still have to fix this, because it says, how can you tell if the time Keiko starts playing is a.m. or p.m. outside? The fact that we have to go past noon belongs here. This one says, look at the picture it. Can you tell if the clock is a.m. or p.m.? No, you can't. I'm so sorry. So we're just going to write the answer to the side right here. No, you can't. And then we're going to explain why. Because it doesn't show a.m. or p.m. I apologize, but I am not erasing all that and redoing it. That would mean this video would last you a lot longer, and I know you don't want that. So just draw an arrow. I apologize. All right, let's try it. Nor leaves school at 3:30 p.m. It takes her 30 minutes to get home. What time does Nor get home? That can be a tricky problem. So let's do this one together. So they have here for you 3:30, but you need to go another 30 minutes. Well, how long is 30 minutes? Well, I'm going to start with minutes because minutes are on the outside, and that's what it's asking us. It said it takes her 30 more minutes. So we're right here because that's 3:30, but we need to go an extra 30 minutes. So 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Okay, there's 30 minutes. How many? How is that? If I look at this, I'm going to divide the clock in half. So it took me this long to get to 30. Look at that. I completely cut the clock in half. So that's 6. So if I count 6 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, where should my minute hand be? It's going to be back up here at the 0. But if it goes all the way around and hits this 0 again, because this is 55 right here, and there's really 60 minutes in an hour, that means instead of 3:30, this hour hand is going to be right here. It's going to be 4. It'll be 4 o'clock because the hour hand is going to move. The hour hand moves to the next number once this minute hand has made it back up to 12. So once it hits that 0, it's a new hour. So instead of 3, it's now 4. And if the minute hand is still here, that means it's going to be 4:00, which is 4 o'clock. But now, is it AM or PM? Well, let's look at our question again. Nora leaves school at 3 p.m. So what is this going to be? 4 p.m. So we did not make that a second grade sentence, so it definitely needs fixed. So what time does Nora get home? Nora gets home at 4 p.m. Now here's the tricky, messy part, okay? That was our 2 pages, but like I said at the beginning of this video, learn about solving problems about time was 1 part. Now we are going to move these out of the way and we're going to do part 2. So part 2 starts on page 260. So it's just the next pages. I know this is a bummer, but we got to do it. So part 2 here is lesson 26. Learn about describing relationships of time. So let's read this problem. Amani practices her flute each day for 2 weeks. How many days does she practice her flute? Time, 1 week, 7 days. Okay? We all know that there's 7 days in a week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay? That's what she's saying. So she's practiced her flute for 2 whole weeks. So how many days does she practice? Well, these people decided to put it in a picture. You can draw a picture. You can draw a picture to find the number of days. There are 7 days in 1 week. So 1 week, 7 days. So they made 7 squares. Second week, same thing. Okay? Model it. You can use an addition equation. So number of weeks, 2. And then number of days, 7 plus 7. We all know what 7 plus 7 is, but we'll just keep it in our minds for now. So, let's look at this one. We're going to connect what we just looked at. Look at the model it, solve the addition equation. How many days does Amani practice her flute? Alright, so back over here to model it. It wants us to solve that problem. So number of weeks it did for us. So we want 2 weeks. That's what it asked us up here. So 2 weeks. So now we need to know how many days is that, because that's what it asked us. It asked us days. So 7 plus 7. Well, we all know what 7 plus 7 is, right? It equals 14. So how many days does Amani practice her flute? Well, she will practice for 14 days. Okay? Amani begins to practice her flute on May 1st. I'm just going to circle it. What day does she end? Explain how you know. Ooh, that's an interesting question. So we do 2 whole weeks. So she starts on this day. Well, how many days are in a week? Week 1, week 2. So I need to go how many days for week 1? 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? There's week 1. I'm going to put, there's a week 1. Week 2 has how many days? 7. I'm going to put stars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, got my 2 weeks. Now let's go with my question again. She begins playing on May 1st. We started there. What day does she end? So what's the last day did she play the flute? She stops on May what? 14th. And then it said, explain how you know. Well, how did we figure that out? Well, start on May 1st and count up 14. It was really simple because we already did the equation for it. How can you describe time in another unit? That's an interesting one. You know, I actually really do not like this question, and I think we're going to mark it out. Miss Rice does not like it. I do not like that question for you guys. It's confusing, so we're not going to do it. So 17 says, Felipe visits his grandmother for 3 days. How many hours are in 3 days? How do you know? Ooh, that's just like this one. So it gives us a hint. 1 day equals 24 hours. Good, because that's what we're looking for, hours. So we know day 1 is equal to 24 hours. And how many days do we need? 3. So day 2 is equal to how many hours? I hope you said 24 because they don't magically have more. And then day 3, how many hours? 24. Okay. So we have our days and we have our hours. It wants to know how many hours are in all 3 of these days. This should be easy peasy lemon squeezy for you guys. How do you figure out how many are there all together? You should have definitely said addition. So what it's asking you to do is add all these guys together. So what's 24 plus 24 plus 24? Easy peasy. 4 and 4 is 8. 8 and 4, 12. 2 goes down. 1 goes up. 1 and 2 is 3. 3 and 2 is 5. 5 and 2 is 7. So how many hours are in 3 whole days? And we got to answer it in a sentence. There are 72 hours in 3 days. Okay, but it has a second part right here. It says, how do you know? Well, what did we do? We add 24 plus 24 plus 24 to get 72. See, that wasn't so bad. That was part 2, okay? So we learned how to do a story problem, and we learned how to take out the pieces we need and add together, okay?